David Mercer. Welcome to everybody. Okay, so Tracy, new taxes and fees from the healthcare law hitting in the new year. Will they hit the market and the economy?
They most certainly will. What a culture shock this is going to be. First of all, when you sit down to do your 2013 tax return come April, you're going to realize there were 13 new taxes in 2013 alone. We're talking about increase in dividends, cap gains, Medicare, payroll taxes. I mean, you name it, you were clobbered in 2013. So you're going to sit down and do that. Mentally, you're already psyched out about what's going to happen about 2014. Plus, you have the Obamacare fees that are going to hit coming in the 2014. So it's going to hurt consumer spending. It's certainly going to make you not want to get out there and boost the economy.
And David, we're just learning about some of these fees. There's a 2% levy on every health plan. There's a 3.5% user fee for insurance companies just to go on the online marketplace. Increases in Medicare Part A. There are some studies that show that for every American, in addition to premium and deductible increases, you could face about $300 more in taxes.
Possibly a year on average, 23 a month. But let's look at the bigger picture, which is that overall costs on healthcare are growing at a slower rate and likely to come down with the premiums to all the customers that are coming into the insurance market with access to affordable health care. That's the whole principle and purpose. With more customers, you have lower premiums, lower costs, which the market is both going to factor in addition to the fees that you alluded to earlier. So I think we've discussed this enough for 3 years about Obamacare. It's already been factored into the economy and the market. We had 4.1% GDP growth in the third quarter. I don't think it's slowing down because of the fees associated with the Affordable Care Act.
But John, we have been talking about it for a long time, and yes, the market has kept going on through the whole website mess, and now all these new taxes and fees, it keeps going up. But what's going to happen when they actually kick in?
Well, I think David is right about the fact that it's not going to cripple the economy. The economy is doing quite well. They've seen a lot of green shoots. We could see a lot more. I think it is going to hurt the economy. It's not quite fair to say that health costs have come down since 2009 because Obamacare wasn't around in 2009. So a lot of Democrats who support this or quote that very often, as any politician would. It's a number that favors them. But what happens was the slowing economy has curbed health care costs. About 80% of that, studies have shown, has nothing to do with Obamacare whatsoever. You're seeing a lot of taxes here. You have a 3.5% user fee from the insurance companies to be on healthcare.gov. The 2% tax you mentioned already. The $2 per policy user fee. 7.5% threshold now goes to 10%. Look, this was supposed to be free. It was supposed to reduce costs. This is being paid for by taxes. When you say, well, the young are getting a subsidy, there's not a subsidy tree in Washington, D.C. that's free, by the way. That is taxes that are coming out to pay for this. That is what is really happening here.
Well, Gary B., I know that you don't believe that new taxes will help the economy, but what about the market? Are these new taxes going to hit the market?
Are you talking about the stock market?
Yes.
You know what? Well, we're going to talk about my market prediction later, but yeah, I think they could, but not in a big way, but not for the reason you think. It gets back to something David said. He said, we've been talking about Obamacare for 3 years. I had to chuckle because I was thinking, which Obamacare? You mean the one where you could keep your plan, the one you couldn't keep your plan, the one where you get one extra day? I don't know which Obamacare he's talking about, and that's the problem. The registrations, even though they have been ramping up, are still under the level that the administration said they wanted or needed. And you take that, and they keep talking about registrations as people paying. The usual conversion rate is about 20%. So all these registrations might only be, you take 20% of that number. Those are the people going to be affected by the taxes. My point being, I don't think a lot of people are going to be affected by Obamacare taxes, because I don't think Obamacare is going to be successful at all. People aren't signing up. Look, I got a chance for Blue Cross Blue Shield to just extend my policy, sign up for health care. The IRS has no way to go out and garnish wages and collect that money. So you're going to get to the point where we have all these taxes and fees, and I agree with the other stuff that Tracy said. Those are always going to hurt. But the Obamacare specifics, I don't think it's going to affect it, because I think the whole thing is a big bomb.
Well, Jonas, Tracy made a great point about how many taxes you got hit with this year. Now, on top of that, the Obamacare fees, what do you think?
I would agree that 95% or more of the dollars of new taxes, whether they're hidden in the program, in this Affordable Care Act, or actually just blatant tax increases on capital gains or whatever, it's already happened. Maybe there's a 5% more, but we got most of these taxes. We're already paying these taxes. Government revenues are going up because of it, and the stock market was up almost 30%, the best year since '95. Like,
exactly.
At some point, you got to say it's just not going to hurt the stock market. It's already happened. It would have happened already. The stock market already would have tanked.
But I disagree, Joe. There are so many people out there that are relying on refunds come April. And you have that 3.8% on investment income, that 0.9 on payroll tax for people making over a certain amount of money. You have a phase out of personal exemptions. No, you don't know that. You don't know
they
that
are
yet,
getting refunds. They're getting refunds on premiums because healthcare providers were spending money above 80%. They're getting rebates on their premiums because it is in the law of Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act. They have to spend 80% on service delivery and not over that. And when they do, they have to offer rebates, and they've been providing
income brackets. You're talking about different income brackets, David. You're talking about low-income people getting refunds, high-income people paying more so that those lower-income people can get those refunds. That's what you're talking about.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about anybody whose
She's
premiums.
a tax accountant. Okay, I got to go with her. But John, let me ask you a question. Jonas did make a great point that the stock market has just been running up. Is this going to hit it?
I agree with Gary B. I just don't think this is going to hit it. I think look, the market understands politicians lie to get things passed. Look, Obama is not the only one that's ever done this. Obama is the latest one to have done this. Look, you can keep your doctor. Health costs are not going to go up. Look, taxes are going to pay for this. And what David was talking about with this percentage of profits, think about the world we live in. Under Obamacare, if these insurance companies make money, they have to give it back. Look, that happened in Russia. That didn't work out so well.
All right, David.
They have to give it back if they don't spend 80% of it on delivery for coverage of health care.
How dare they make money? How dare they make money?
I don't understand.
That's not the issue. That's not the issue.
But you're all saying it's going to be paid for by taxes. How could that not hurt the economy?
No, you're saying that.
You're saying that. There's just less money out there.
You're saying it's being paid by taxes. It's not being paid just by taxes.
Most certainly is.
It's being paid by those that are coming into the marketplace, and there are more of them, and we're covering more people. That's what makes and drives the market.
Who's paying for that, David?
Look,
the individuals that are insured that weren't insured before.
Okay, all right, we got to go. Democrat New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez suggesting new regulations may be needed to protect consumers. But John, when the government gets involved in the private sector, is that when the consumer really pays?
You think? This is like going to the town drunk and asking him how to get sober. Look, Otis Campbell doesn't teach sobriety classes. A government that cannot build a website, you want to talk to them about hacking and efficiencies? Look, credit cards, we have 47% of the fraud in the United States despite 24% of the usage. Computer chips would help that. That's what we need to go to. And as far as the UPS, they hired 55,000 part-time workers, 23 extra jets. They still underestimated demand. The market will deal with them. Congress dealing with them? Good Lord, get your own house in order, guys.
All right, David, what do you say to that?
I think it's ridiculous that a company, Target or UPS or any other, has to wait for a congressman or senator to say, hey, how about tend to your customers, protect them against breaches on private data, and give them a refund when you don't deliver on the promises that you said you would commit to with your customers. So go ahead and be like Amazon, give your customers a refund, and then work to protect your data. Then we won't need government to tell us what to do or to tell them what to do. Just do
David, that's not fair. That is not fair. Target responded right away, and UPS is responding as well. That's not fair to make that statement.
It may not have been right away, but it was a corporate decision, David. If Target wants to go down in a pile of flames because they made a mistake, that is completely their prerogative. Sucks for their shareholders,
let them go down.
But it's their prerogative. The government does. This is not their business whatsoever. And John made the best point of all.
It is their business because they're public servants to customers that are also voters.
John made the best point of all, that the privacy issues on Obamacare will blow your head off because you might as well just hand out your Social Security number on a street corner.
And you were making the argument that the private sector is good at protecting data, and look at what Target just did.
I'm saying the government is not the answer.
No, but
that is not the answer.
But the issue is, Gary B.
You're right, they're not the answer.
The issue is, Gary B., if Uncle Sam comes in, more regulations, what does that do?
Well, it increases prices to the consumer. Look, Target, as we've kind of implied, has already paid for this. They lost a substantial amount of business in the height of the Christmas season due to this. But if you're going to have the government come in, it's essentially an extra tax. There's going to be extra regulations, extra thing Target has to do or UPS has to do. For example, in order for UPS to absolutely 100% never mess up and always get those Christmas in by Christmas, they'd have to hire a whole bunch more planes and people just for that one peak period that happened, by the way, once in the history of UPS. What's that going to cost? And UPS is not going to say, well, you know what, we'll just take out of our profits and charge the same. No, they're going to increase prices for everyone. So when David goes to send his fancy legal document to his other compadre across the hall, that it's going to be extra. David's going to go, geez, this used to cost $12. Now it costs $20. Well, that's what you get for having the government meddle in these affairs.
And the government doesn't need to get involved if you do deliver to your customers.
All right.
They do deliver to their customers. They're not allowed to mess up once in their history.
They are, and then give a refund.
Who would you rather have an important package sent, UPS or the United States Postal Service?
Well, if I pay for extra charges to get it delivered at a certain time, I would expect a refund if it doesn't get there on time.
You don't think the U.S. Postal Service ever screws up and doesn't misses a delivery date?
Okay.
I didn't say they didn't.
All right. I got to let Jonas get in. Jonas, is this needless regulation?
I feel like we're arguing over the paint peeling off our yacht. You know, most countries would love to have our problem where you can't get the gifts delivered in time. We bought so much junk at the end of the year by two great shipping companies. Look, I'm all for government when there's no free market solution. In this particular case, since there is a UPS and a FedEx and the post office, this will resolve itself. If there was only one shipping company, you would definitely have to shake them down and put them in front of Congress. This is not that case, I don't think. And I think the Target thing will work itself out where Visa's going to get on their case for all the fraud stuff. Yeah. So if there's no solution, that is when the government needs to look out for the people. But if the free market can fix it on its own and there's a path where consumers are going to change their behavior and punish somebody, then you don't need to. But there's plenty other stuff they need to regulate.
All right. Last word. Thanks. Oh, baby. More young couples shacking up with their parents so they can save cash to be parents. But Gary B., is this new trend a troubling sign for the economy?
It is, Brenda. I was just thinking when I, moved out from my parents, all the expenses I forgot about, including utilities, renter's insurance, food, all the things that my parents provided. So, it's going to be a drain on the economy. Good for the families, though. That allows them to save money. Bad for the economy.
Tracy, babies are expensive.
Yeah, come on. You know me. I'm Sicilian. If they could live with me forever, I'd be so happy. Look, you need emotional support, financial support. It's not like these kids are going to be in the house forever. They just need a little help. And in this day and age, why not save it as opposed to waste it and have these kids in bankruptcy before the kids are in kindergarten?
David, what do you think? Is this good or bad?
I think it's good. I agree with Tracy in that rather than taking out a loan and running the risk of ending up in bankruptcy or foreclosure, better play it safe coming out of the biggest recession we've had in years, and to be a little prudent and save money to later buy a home. Play it safe now and husband your resources for later.
Of course, Jonas, the parents won't be saving for retirement, though. They're paying for their kids and grandkids.
I would rather see these kids borrowing money to buy a house and having lots of kids because that would be the best for everybody. But unfortunately, I'll take the kids over the house, even though the housing market needs it. When I see these babies, I see that's who's paying my Social Security someday. We need more babies. The country's getting too old. It's bad for the economy.
All right, John, very quickly.
Young people in a house is much better for the economy. This is a sign of the times. Good thing they have a family to fall back on. A lot of people don't.
Okay, thanks, guys. And thanks to Tracy and to David for joining us. So